Ever wonder what sets apart a top-tier jungler from a struggling one? Are you tired of being the scapegoat for your team's losses? Do you have the dreams of playing like Kyrie and impressing all the girls? Well, looks like you have clicked on the right video. Hi guys, Kazuki here, and in this video I am here to show you how to become a good jungler so that you can stop being a bad one. To become a good jungler, first you need a lot of practice and knowledge. I will help you with the knowledge part and even how to apply part in this video. But if you want to start seeing results, you should apply whatever you do consciously and practice a bit. Your jungling will for sure improve. So let's get started with the first thing that sets apart good jungler from a bad jungler. Proper time management or tempo. By time management, I don't mean like management of creep timers and such. I mean tempo. I'm sure all the league players are familiar with what I mean. Let me define what tempo means. Tempo refers to the speed and pace at which a team or individual player controls the game. It's about making plays at the right time, being proactive and maintaining pressure on your opponent. Even though the words might sound fancy, it's not that difficult to understand. In League, people have a formula to calculate tempo. Tempo is equal to power by distance from objective. The power of a hero is determined by 4 factors: resources, health and mana, states, level difference from the average heroes, items, item state advantages over opponents, cooldown, availability of key abilities and summoners. The tempo in ML and League is going to be different as the games are vastly different. But we can still use this formula to figure out how to keep constant pressure on your opponents to make the right decisions. Let me give you a simple example. This is just a really rough example so that you can understand the basics. In one part of the map, we have Gushin who is level 6 with 1 or 2 items including boots. On the other side of the map, we have Aman who is level 8 with 3 items including boots. Now the load has spawned on the top side like it usually does. Who do you think is at an advantage to take the load? I mean, it is pretty easy answer, right? Even though Aman is at an advantage in terms of power, Gushin really has the distance factor in his favor. This means he just has a higher chance of taking the load. Yeah, Aman can still, but by the time Aman is going to come for the load, Gushin's team can set the ground for the load even though they are behind. Let me give you another example so that you can understand it a little bit better. We again have Gushin and Aman and their positions and states, everything is the same. But now the objective has changed. The objective now is a bot lane gank. Who is in better position now? It's Gushin, isn't it? Why? Well, the distance advantage. With that, you should have understand the general meaning of tempo. Now, how do you use this thing to your advantage? Well, you look at your current objective and then check and compare to see both your and your enemy's objective. If the tempo is in your favor, then go in. If the tempo is to the enemy's advantage, just know that what you are doing is risky, so make sure to have escape routes or backup plan. Another thing that sets apart a good jungler from a bad one is rotation. Rotation is another crucial aspect of jungling. It's about moving around the map efficiently, supporting your lanes and creating opportunities for your team. Here's how to effectively rotate. Always keep track of the current objective and plan your rotations accordingly. Constantly monitor the minimap to see where enemies are and where your team needs help. When rotating, be on the lookout for opportunities to gank enemy laners who are out of position or low on health. What sets apart a good jungler from a bad one is also his or her decision making. Decision making is a critical skill for junglers. You need to make quick and accurate decisions about when to gank, when to farm and when to rotate. Here are some tips for making good decisions. Before making a decision, take a moment to assess the overall state of the game, including your team's and the enemy's team strengths and weaknesses. Consider the risk and rewards, weigh the potential benefits and drawbacks of each option before making a decision. Be prepared to adapt your plans as the game progresses. To become a great jungler, your macro play should be immaculate. Macro play refers to the big picture decisions that you make throughout the game. This includes things like controlling objectives, managing the map, and making strategic decisions about your team's overall strategy. Here are some tips for improving your macro play. Objectives like turrets, turtles, and lords are crucial to winning the game. Control these objectives to gain an advantage. Manage the map. Keep track of where enemies are and where your team has vision. This will help you avoid dangerous situations and create opportunities for your team. If we talk about macro play, it is pretty important that I also talk about micro play. Micro play refers to the small scale actions that you take during the game, such as last hitting creeps, dodging enemy attacks, and using abilities effectively. Here are some tips for improving your micro play. Practice this skill regularly to improve your accuracy. Understand the abilities of the heroes you encounter. This will help you dodge their attacks and counter their strategies. Use abilities effectively. Use your abilities at the right time to maximize their impact. Another thing you see all the good junglers do is pick the perfect lanes for ganks. Lane priority refers to the relative importance of each lane at a given point in the game. It's important to understand lane priority so that you can allocate your resources effectively. Here are some factors to consider when determining lane priority. The state of the game. The lane priority will change throughout the game based on factors such as the state of the objectives, the relative strength of each lane, and overall state of the game. Your team composition. Your team composition will also influence lane priority. For example, if you have a weak early game you may want to prioritize helping that lane. The enemy team composition can also affect lane priority. If the enemy team has a strong early game you may also want to prioritize ganking that lane to prevent them from getting too strong. If you are a jungler, you should know what creeps are a priority. Understanding which creeps are going to give you the most experience is important for leveling up quickly and effectively. Use your abilities wisely. Use your abilities to clear waves of creeps quickly and efficiently. Staying up to date on the current meta is important to be a good jungler. This will help you choose heroes that are strong and effective in the current patch. Here are some tips for picking meta heroes. Stay informed about the current meta by watching pro games, reading guides, and discussing the game with other players. Choose heroes that match your play style. If you are a more aggressive player, you may want to choose a hero with strong ganking potential. If you are a more defensive player, you may want to choose a hero with good sustain. Be flexible, be prepared to adapt to the meta as it changes. Don't be afraid to try new heroes and strategies. So guys, what do you think? What are some other things that set apart a good jungler from a bad one? Do you have some strategies of your own? Comment down all your answers below. So that will be all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting Kazuki Official.